Hi AGP students, welcome back. Today we're discussing infusing your strengths into academics and career. And I know for many of you this is something you're very interested in, and maybe you have an idea of what you're wanting to do. Maybe you kind of at a point where you don't have much direction, but regarding this lesson, kind of give you some deeper insight into academics, and as well as how you can sort of use that and your strengths to funnel into a career, which in the lesson or in the actual class we'll do more activities oriented to that. So today's objectives, as you see, we'll kind of talk about the academic interest of things, and as well as how that can benefit you in your pursuit of your goals here in high school and eventually in college. Also talking about cultivating academics and what you can personally do to kind of help to assist you in better understanding that. We'll talk about academic skills. We'll also talk about using your strengths, and then lastly we'll talk about learning styles. And this is something I like to throw in helping you understand more so how you choose to take information in and learn from it, and to further benefit you and helping you be a more effective studier. So moving on. Also tonight I am trying to be more succinct than the last lesson, so that's something I'm trying to do. So, what to do. You may be asking yourself, what is it, that you eventually want to do? And here, you have a couple medical doctors, which I believe he's a neurosurgeon in Grey's Anatomy, and he's a plastic surgeon and things, and what's involved in to get to that point and things. And some of you may have interest in sort of the medical industry, and maybe it's not being a doctor, but something that's related to it. Some of you may have an idea of maybe you want to be like a physicist or something. Maybe you want to to do that, involved in trying to work on that. Some of you may want to be a teacher. Nice little teacher helping shape young minds and things of that nature. Moving on, some of you may want to be a detective. Maybe forensic scientist or something of that nature. Maybe you want to do something in regards to that, or maybe you want to be some sort of engineer or some sort of effective, like this fellow is here in that show. So it's sorry, it's kind of escaping me at this moment. But there are, different majors. There's actually quite a few different majors if you think about it. In college, there's over 1,800, which you're thinking like, wow, how can there possibly be that many different majors? But there are some more common ones, such as you think about in regards to engineering or biology or chemistry, and there's some that are just as refined as doing like Greek literature or something. And you think about it like, how can Greek literature really help me in getting a job for beyond the your college years? And I'm sure they do have a very convincing argument as to how that can benefit you in some ways. But just as many majors there are just as many careers, and a lot of students fail to realize that. It's like how many different jobs actually exist in some ways, and how do you come about arriving to that point. And more than anything, what I like to try to do is help students sort of set their pathway on what they want to do, and helping to arrive to that, something that they'll be happy with, something in which will provide with a nice quality of life, something that they can feel good about in their productivity, and that they're contributing in regards to society. As to some people, may feel like certain things are forced upon them and they're left with very little options. Essentially what you want are options, things in which you can choose from and that you don't feel boxed in. So another thing beyond that is over 50% of the students will change their majors, and you can see why. I mean, as many majors in which they are, it's quite possibly that you may not necessarily stick with the one in which you want to do initially. And to be honest, I changed my major 2 different times, and going from education and then to kind of like sports medicine, and then coming back into kind of like something to that. So It does happen, and you can anticipate that it may very well happen. The idea which you want to try to eliminate are going into, say, engineering, and you end up with something on the completely opposite spectrum. The more preparation, the more guidance, the understanding in which you know about certain majors and certain careers, the better off that you can end up in a discipline and a major that'll be pretty well suited for that. And hopefully with this course, you learn more about that and see as to what areas are a good fit and a good match to your abilities, to your personality, to your desires and wishes and things. Also, these are some of the more unique majors, which you can see: adventure education at Plymouth State. So if you like to do sort of outside type things, ropes and leadership games and those types of things, I believe that's what it's referring to. Theme park engineer. So if you want to design roller coasters, there is a major for that. And bakery science there at K-State. So if you have desire to better understand how to cook baked goods, you can do that at K-State. So kind of looking forward to here, and the purpose of this slide in high school academics is something I'm trying to want to convey to you, and this is what a lot of colleges are looking for. And to the extent this has even changed a little bit, this balanced student and things is, obviously solid grades, making good grades, taking rigorous courses, as well as that you can within your, within your scope of things, will be a good benefit to you. And because this helps to develop solid study habits, which are necessary to succeed there in college, because there you're independently on your own. You won't have anybody pushing you, watching you, or saying, "Oh, you didn't turn in this assignment" or whatever. No, you're an adult. You're on your own. It's up to you. And developing those sort of habits and that independence now is only going to benefit you as to when you get to college. Also, they're looking for balanced students. They want students who are involved in extracurricular activities. They want students who are in leadership opportunities. They want students who are volunteering within the community. They want to see students that they're out doing things and being productive members of society, because essentially that's what they want to see you doing at their college campus. If you're representing that and doing that there in high school, the idea in which they're thinking is that you're going to continue along with that behavior into college and beyond and such. And what colleges want, they want good citizens. They want to be able to educate them, and then beyond that, go and and contribute to society and things. So, but beyond this balance, students is many are even starting to look for more of a focal orientation to your high school experience, so that if you're interested in medicine and that realm of things, the things in which you're involved with need to be connected to that. Your extracurricular activities, your volunteering, your leadership, everything in which you do needs to be attached to that. If you're more interested in business, then find out what you can do and trying to learn more of the background, whether it's running a business or marketing elements or whatever it may be, and trying to do that. If you're engineering, whatever it may be, is trying to develop a deeper scope of that and understanding more of the background. So the higher grades in which you have, the more balanced in which you are, the more opportunities in which you have for college and things. And what that leads to is also in college academics and things, and that the college grades in which you have, and the higher in which they are, the more opportunities in which you will have before you, whether it's scholarships that'll come your way and rewarded financially in that respect, if it's actual internships, and whether that's a paid internship or an unpaid internship or something. Of course, the more sought after students are receiving paid internships, whether after you graduate, whether you're choosing to go for that lucrative job or going to graduate professional school, that's not something that's within your ambitions and goals and that you're a good candidate for. But the idea is that you do want to continue to earn good grades, and a lot of that suggests that you can be trained, you know how to follow rules, you know how to do well, to listen, to take notes, and can memorize things and such. That you are a good employee and can demonstrate to that. as opposed to students who aren't making necessarily the greatest of grades, where their professional soft skills may not be as well as those who are making higher grades. So once again, college grades and making those better grades, which the 3.0 GPA, that's a B minus, that's an average GPA. 50% of the students or higher make a 3.0. If you want to be an elite group, that's a 3.5. Approximately 15 to 17, 18% of the students, or essentially 1 out of 6 students, are making a 3.5 or higher. But if you are making a 3.5 or higher, those lucrative internships, lucrative scholarships, job offers, and graduate professional school, all these sorts of things come into play are opportunities. And once again, you want options. You don't want to be told, like, or trying to take a job just for the sake of taking a job to pay the bills. You went to college to help you provide yourself with a better quality of life. And doing that and making better grades will provide that to you. So some things in which you can do, cultivating your academics. Remember, this course is about taking ownership. You being in control, taking ownership, and being responsible for your personal development. Same thing with your academics. Sometimes students so often depend on their teachers saying to teach them things. No. Your education is your education, and it is up to you to go and to learn things. Yes, some teachers are better than others. I don't doubt that at all. But if there's a gap in your education and your learning of the material, then it is up to you to make up that difference. Whether that's going and talking to a teacher, whether that's going after school, before school, whether that's getting tutoring, whether that's looking at Khan Academy online, whether that's reading other additional material and text and things, it is up to you to learn how to learn that information. So reading materials. I think too often students nowadays are just reading things that are very quick blurbs and such, and are not equipped in a way of reading actual textbooks and information that's very heavy and dense. Try to find things that are a little bit more length in their article, a little bit higher in their reading ability, and trying to build your ability to comprehend information at a higher level, and as well as your vocabulary. Also, news and documentaries. Trying to stay and have a pulse of what's going on. There may be certain elements that's more relevant to you, whether it's more local or national or state or world, whether it's economical or political or educational or whatever it is. Try to find something within a genre and segment that interests you, and try to read up on it and stay up on it. Be involved, be engaged, be a good citizen, and understand what's going on with your surroundings. Documentaries are really good. There's a lot of good ones now. It doesn't seem like in the past, the documentaries of old were very kind of mundane and boring. But nowadays, there seems to be a lot more money behind them, and they're being much more well produced. I always try to watch some here and now, every now and then when I have a chance, and I find them to be quite interesting. But don't take everything at face values. A lot of times, documentaries will have some sort of agenda. They may be coming from some sort of angle in which they're trying to promote certain things. But that's up to you to do your further research and do the diligence to find out the other side of the coin, and then compare it and make your opinions from those. Lastly is mentors, talking with those that are in the industry and things. There's no better way to learn how to get to a particular place than to talk to people who are already there. They've already, they're there. They've experienced it. They understand what works, what doesn't work, what's necessary to get there, what they would have done differently in their journey, the sort of education that's needed, and the sort of opportunities that may exist for you at this very moment as a high school student. You don't have to wait to get to college to start doing research. You don't have to wait to start getting involved in external organizations and volunteering and taking on leadership positions. You are the owner of your personal growth and development. Ask people. See what you need to do. Take interest in it and follow through and see how you can make a difference and learn and grow from things. You may start off just like making paper copies for the local women's resource center or something. But being around that environment and hearing the conversations, the topics of things going, you are developing a much deeper understanding of the sort of issues, the social issues in which they have to deal with. And then from there, you can decide as to when there's good opportunities to sort of thrust yourself into them and see in which you can do. Maybe it's helping to set up an event for other women who are coming to that. Maybe and you do that for a while, and eventually maybe you're leading the discussion. But you have to start at some point, and to make that and to take that action to put yourself in those positions. So strengths in academics, and I know we're just kind of now getting to this, and we'll talk about this a lot more in depth in class. But looking at these, how do they apply to your classes? The strengths in which you have, and the things in which benefit you. How do they apply to the individual classes? How do they apply to the things in which you're studying and that? What content do you enjoy? What content do you not enjoy? We all have things in which we're better suited for, and understanding that and understanding why that's the case, but then trying to use your strengths to help make those classes that you enjoy even stronger, and the ones in which you do not enjoy but are still important and relevant, um, using your strengths to sort of combat that, and those sort of things we'll discuss as well. How do they apply to your study habits, the things in which you do? And what I mean, like the reading assignments in which you do. How do your strengths apply to that individually? The organizing of your assignments, how does that apply? Your note-taking skills, your ability to learn and retain new information. How can you potentially use these strengths of yours to help you in these sort of individual skills and help them to improve to become a better student? So something I do want you to look and take some time after this presentation is how do these work, and the benefits to them. Something that could really benefit you is reviewing your strengths profile. Going online, going to strengthsquest.com, and you should see something, if I remember correctly, kind of over here in the left-hand part of the screen. It says click on students, and then from there you're able to click on academics, and then chapter 7. There's a little link there, I believe, for chapter 7. And then reviewing, applying your talents and your academics and things. So then based on your top 5 strengths, you can go and see how they each apply to your individual strengths. Here, these insights and action ideas can help you apply developer talents to achieve in various aspects of your academic life. Developer is one of my strengths. It's actually number 4. And it says, during lectures, take down facts that are new, enlightening, interesting, or humorous. Share your observations with others from class. Being able to reiterate that information to other people and things. I do learn a lot through discussion of things, being able to talk about it and exchange ideas. That's something that I happen to do, and it helps me to remember a lot of the new information. So this is general stuff. These are actual techniques. Explain to a friend, form study groups, identify a few classmates who I can relate to be study partners. Try studying by yourself first to understand the information, then help others if they need it. So these are actual techniques, things in which you can say, yes, I do, no, I don't do, and behaviors in which you can implement to help modify some of the ways that you choose to actually study for your academics. All right, now we have VARK, and you may be asking yourself, like, what is this VARK? What does this even mean? And VARK is helping you to better understand your actual learning style. So the V stands for visual, A stands for audio or auditorial, so the way in which you hear things. R stands for read or write, so you're either reading of things or writing it down. And K is for kinesthetic or tactile, so through the touch of things that you sort of learn. So how can it help you? Well, we all have individual ways in which we learn better. And by taking the VARK assessment, it will give you that information and equip you with it on how you can choose to take information in, how, not only taking it in, but trying to learn the information. And then from learning the information, how do you recall that information? So intake, learn, and then outtake. How are you recalling it? Things. And one contributing dimension, um, looking at this is, you may have one of these that is beneficial to you. You may have a combination of a two or something, which they say you're kind of bimodal in a way, where the visual may help you, or the kinesthetic, and trying to incorporate those sort of different techniques to help you learn the information. And the benefit to this as well is that you only have so much time. You're very limited. If you can learn how to take in information better and retain it, and it only takes you 40 minutes to go over an assignment rather than an hour, well, that's more time in which you can be beneficial in other ways. And understanding this, trying to employ these techniques can really help you in how you choose to take information, learn it, recall it, and make you that much more effective with your study habits. So, preparation for next week. One was watching this video. Two, take the VARC test and review those individual results and things. We will go over those in class in detail. Also review the StreamQuest academics section and being able to look that information over. Maybe pick out a few that you can identify with and try to see how you may be able to employ those as new behaviors. And then I think I left something off here, but you should have a activity that says I do it with ease, something that's in your book there, and work on that as well. So with these presentations, I like to leave off with a quote, something that's inspirational and help you think and give you something to think about. This one says, education is not to reform students or to amuse, Education is not to reform students or amuse them or to make them expert technicians. It is to unsettle their minds, widen their horizons, inflame their intellects, and teach them to think straight if possible. Robert M. Hutchins, educational philosopher. So, and I bolded that part to unsettle their minds is because how else do you expect to grow as an individual if you don't necessarily take in other things outside of what you don't know? And by doing so, that will ask you to question, to look at things in a different perspective, and to be able to make your choice from those other additional things that have been introduced, and help you learn from that perspective. So thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.